We're on page 8 of the 4.3 notes. So let us highlight number 9. This one is on the test. You could actually study 8 or 9. They're both pretty good. Or even 10. 10's a little bit too easy. And the reason I want these highlighted, besides the fact that they're on the test, is it's also one of the most missed problems on the test, which is incredible because these are FOIL problems. But students go, oh, I bet I can just distribute that too and get my answer. Never. You can never distribute that too unless this is multiplication or division. And if you look back at your exponent rules from the very first day, you'll see in multiplication, yes, I can distribute the exponent. In division, yes, I can distribute the exponent. But do you see any addition or subtraction here? No, because that there are no exponent rules for addition and subtraction. So you can never, ever distribute that. You will miss it every time. By distributing, you get 2 terms. When we FOIL, we get 3 terms for the answer. So you'll miss the middle term every time. So you cannot distribute. If there was a awesome little shortcut, believe me, I would show you. I'm not going to hold tricks away from you. What you have to do is you have to say, well, what does 2x plus 1 squared mean? Oh, that means 2x plus 1 times 2x plus 1. That's what anything squared means. Write it out twice, and then it's a FOIL problem. So from F, we get 4, add your exponents, x squared. From outer, we get positive 2x. From inner, we get positive 2x. And from last in the first times last in the second, we get plus 1. So you see, I'm just distributing first times first, first times second, second times first, second times second. We just gave it a name, FOIL. So what do I get for my answer? 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Another thing I see students do, well, biggest mistake is FOILing or distributing. And so they write 4x squared plus 1 for the answer. And you can see that is not the answer. I would give no credit for that. Either would Alex, because that shows no understanding of exponent rules for someone that just does that. The second thing I see students do wrong on this one is they cross that out because they're looking at the problems we just did and they're like, oh, we just cross out the x's. Well, 2 plus 2 is not 0. So don't cross it out. 2x minus 2x would be 0, but not 2x plus 2x. So don't be in too big of a hurry to cross things out. If you look at the last problem or last page of problems, you can see we crossed them out because they were opposites. Positive 5x, negative 5x, negative 24, plus 24. But on this one, the signs are not opposite. So don't get in a pattern and do mindless math without thinking. So this one, you add the terms and you get 4x. Okay, so now shut off your video and let's see you guys try 9 on your own. So again, no distributing. The only time I can distribute that too is if it's multiplication or division, and this is not. So what that means is write what this means. This is 3x minus 4y times 3x minus 4y. That's what that means. Anything squared means it times itself. So then I can start the whole FOIL process. So from F, don't forget to add exponents, I get 9x squared. From outer, I get negative 12xy. And I always put my variables in alphabetical order, by the way. From inner, inside times inside, I get negative 12xy. And from last, so this is I, from last by last, I get positive 16, add your exponents, y squared. Because remember, there's an imaginary one here and an imaginary one there. So positive 16y squared. So then I look at my xy terms in the middle. Do they cancel? No, they only cancel when they're opposites. When the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign. So negative 24xy plus 16y squared. Is this in the correct order? So here it was x to the second, x to the first, no x. So remember what we learned yesterday in our, I think it was 4.2 notes. When there's two letters, we only look at the letter that comes first alphabetically. X comes before y, so we arrange it in powers of x. X to the second, x to the first, no x. This one is in the right order, and a lot of students switch these around. Don't do it. Anything with an x should be before a y. Okay, so we only look at the letter that comes first alphabetically and do descending powers of that letter. So x to the second, x to the first, no x, which tells me this is in the correct order. So I really don't even look at the y's unless I had two x's that were the same. Otherwise, I don't even look at the y's. Okay, so let's look at number 10. 10's a little bit of a long one. So again, this is addition. I cannot distribute that 3. You get 2 terms for your answer when the answer has like 5 or 6 terms. Just like here, I would have gotten 2 terms for the answer when my answer has 3. So if it is not multiplication or division, I cannot distribute that exponent. So I have x plus 3 times x plus 3 times x plus 3. So obviously I can't FOIL 3 things at once. So what I do, or what I tell students to do, is just look. Math is done from left to right when all the operations are the same. It's all multiplication. So going left to right, I'm going to look at those first. So for right now, I'm just going to ignore that one. So this gives me FOILing x squared, outer plus 3x, inner plus 3x, and L plus 9. So this is in brackets or parentheses, whatever you want. So what I'm going to do on this is, do you guys remember A times B equals B times A? 3 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 3. Order doesn't matter in multiplication. So I like having my smaller polynomial first. So I'm going to put that first, and then behind it, I'm going to write what I get here, which would be x squared plus 6x plus 9. So for my eyes, I don't know if this is true about everyone, but for my eyes, taking a smaller one and distributing it to the larger one is a lot easier than taking this and going there. It's easier to get lost. So that's why I like having my smaller polynomial first. And multiplication can always have the order switch, just like addition can. So now we have a problem just like we had on the front page. What number was it? Just like number 5. We have 2 terms by 3 terms. So we're going to do it just like we did number 5 on the front page. So it's not a FOIL. It's not 2 by 2. So we're going to take the first term times the first term, the first term times the second term, the first term times the third term, and then we'll continue on with the bottom. So first times first, we get x to the third plus 6x to the second plus 9x. Then I have to take the second term times each of these. Remember, we're distributing both. So that turns into plus 3x squared. So go underneath your x squared term and write 3x squared plus 18x. So go underneath your x term and write your like term. And then plus 27. That doesn't have a like term, so we'll just put it here at the end. So look at that. I get 4 terms. Had you done this by distributing, you would have gotten 2. So you would have missed 2 of the terms. So you can never, ever get it right by distributing, just FYI. So my final answer, x cubed plus 9x squared plus 27x. And remember, don't touch your exponents in addition or subtraction. Plus 27. And that will be the answer. Okay, so you do 2 at a time, FOIL, simplify your FOIL, and then distribute that third one to your answer for your final answer. Okay, I think we have time for 11, but we'll probably have to do 12 on a new video, so I'll just be a little short video, but let's go ahead and do 11. So this one is 3 by 3. First thing, I don't like the nested parentheses. So that plus sign tells me I don't even need that parenthesis. So I'm going to do 3g plus x minus 1. So that's all that first one is there's no need for the parentheses. They're just trying to show these are a difference of squares. So the first one's not needed. Now the second one has a negative, so if we're going to remove parentheses, we have to make sure and distribute that negative. So the second parentheses will turn into 3g minus x, and a negative times a negative, positive 1. So negative times a positive was negative x, but a negative times a negative, positive 1. So now doesn't that look a lot simpler without all the parentheses and brackets and ugh. So this is a big, huge distributive problem though. You're going to have the first term times the first, second, third. Then you're going to have the second term times the first, second, third. Then you're going to have the third term times the first, second, third. So we're going to get 9 terms after multiplying, but at least it looks a lot simpler than it did. So first times first, first times second, first times third. So it's all about being nice and neat, because they're not hard problems, but you just have to be neat and be able to read your work. So this gives me 9g squared minus 3gx. So positive times a negative is negative. So 9g squared minus 3gx plus 3g. And I think I'm just going to do a big string. I don't think I have room to put 3 tiers underneath, but we'll see if I can squeeze some in. So then I have second times first, second times second, second times third. I can see I'm going to run out of time, so I'll just stop right there and we'll start up on the next video.